Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. My name is Amalola Alfred. I am a business application developer and a business application Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. I'm so excited to be here with us. And I'm not here alone. I am here with David Adeniro. Hi, David. How you doing? It's been amazing 8 days. Tell me how you feel. Today is day 8.
Yeah, it's exciting. Today's date, yes. Today's the last day. It's been a wonderful journey with you guys. Just going through the beginner course of Power Platform, or Power specifically, making sure that all of those basic concepts we went through all of them. So it's been amazing. The questions, the encouragement, it's been awesome, to be honest. So we are really happy to be here. So today, today's the last day, and today is the in a sense, we are moving, we are graduating from beginners to intermediate today. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. That's very, profound. Now, today is the 8th. We have tagged today code along. It means you're coding along with us. We have looked at a lot of things. We looked at pop-ups, we looked at filters, we looked at conditions, we looked at operators in Power Apps, we looked at variables, global and local variable, we looked at galleries, forms. So now we have put together a lovely use case for us. What's the use case? The use case is that I shared it yesterday that we will be building an amazing application together. So the idea is that a company has hired you as what, as a junior power platform developer. And that's like the essence, that's the essence why we are here, so that you are employable, people can actually give you projects to do. So they have now employed you as a junior power apps developer or junior power platform developer, and they've told you that now build us a requisition application that, number one, can do what? If you remember, just put it in the chat box because I shared it yesterday. Can has a screen that will just go away by itself, right? So before we go ahead and we show us the use case and everything we'll be building, we'll just go on a very, 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 very short break and stay along with us. Go tell somebody that we're about to code along, bring them and let us code together. All right. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, so this is where we are. Okay, so what are we building tomorrow? So this was what I shared yesterday. So it is now today. What are we building today? So this is what we are building. A company has hired you to build a requisition app with the following. Number one, a landing page that disappears after 5 minutes, a screen to submit requests, a screen that allows the team lead to see all the submitted requests, a screen that shows only the user submission. The team lead should be able to search for a user or filter with a list of requests from the database. All right, this is going to be interesting. Also, this particular company has given you their brand colors, so they want you to, use their color, use their logo. So we're going to use, sets, we're going to use all the things that we talked about, the global and local variable, just how we started everything. So you will see the importance of everything that we did day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, day six, day seven. We're going to be doing it along. Remember what we talked about today. We had already said, please go through the first 7 days. Today we will not be explaining, we'll just build along. If you have any questions, we'll answer it after the class. If you have anything that probably the trainer did and it was too fast, after the class you have it, you have this video. It's going to be on this particular channel, the live session. You can go there, rewind, pause, copy the code and do it on your own. All right, so this is where I hide somewhere and I allow our trainer David take us on what he has for us today. Hi David, ready?
Yes, yes, yes. Hi. Yeah, I'm ready. So I'm going to go on a journey. So, as Lola has mentioned, we'll be building an app, a acquisition app, and we already know the business rules. We already know exactly what we want to build. So let's just get into it immediately. All right. So right now we have our Power Apps home page, right? And from here, which is by the way, a very, very beautiful page. I just want to mention that we've been building apps from scratch, which is important for us to understand how to bring all these components together, all these controls together. However, you can build um, apps with data. So let's say you have a data already, you have your data source already modeled already. You can just start with this. So this will connect your data source, and Power Apps will create some screens for you. So this is a way to start. And you can also start with designs. Maybe like if you have a design on Figma or something like that, you can also go start with like this. And then there are templates. So just to let you guys know, there are templates that you can also start with, right? You don't have to start everything from scratch. But however, for the purpose of learning, that's why everything we're doing, we're starting from scratch. All right. Okay. So next step we're going to do is that we're going to go to create. So go to create. So on create, you can go to blank app, and then we're going to do a canvas app. So create a canvas app. Now, this app we want to build is actually a sales and marketing requisition app. So it's a requisition app for both for sales and marketing department. So I'm going to focus on that. So we can call it sales requisition app. We can call it market requisition app, but let's say sales requisition app. I believe this is correct spelling. Right. So let's call it like that. Now, so create a new app. So that is loading up. Now, as the app is loading up, the next thing that we need to concern ourselves with. Okay, all right. So next thing I need to concern ourselves with is our data. So how do we want our data to look like? So let me just put this. So this is the app. Now we have the screen. Now let's look at our data first. What do we need? What are the data that we need? So first of all, we need a request list. So a list that would have all our requests that we send. So when we create a request, it should have all our requests on that list, right? So we need a request list. Now we also need another list in SharePoint for storing information about our admins or our team lead, right? Because we want a situation where the team lead can do some things in the app while other people may not be able to do certain things in the app, right? So because if you look at the requirements, the team lead is able to see all the requests while the ordinary user can only see the request that he raised, right? So that's the difference. Now, so what I'm going to do is that over here, I'm going to create two lists. Let's start from the request list. So lists. So I'm sure many of you know how to create lists already. So we're going to create a list very, very quickly. So we start from a blank list. We'll call it regression requests, right? So we'll create. Okay. Now, we would use the title column because it always comes with it. So just use it, be like the title of our request, basically. So that'll be what it will be. Now, we can now add some other things to our list. So for instance, we can add a new column. We can add a choice column, right? And we can call it, we can call this column request item, right? Or type of request, or I don't know, I call it type of request, I call request item. Let's just request item or items, or let's say item. That's fine. Then we have it's a choice field, right? So we have a couple of choices we want to put in. So I have some choices that I'm going to put in. So because this is a requisition request for marketing, we're going to be marketing related stuffs or sales, right? So retail bags, sales vehicle, because you know we want to see some clients or some potential, um, some potential customers, uh, product samples, maybe contact cards because you want to share some cards with. Uh, right. So we have this as some of our options. Right now, can save this. Okay. Another thing I want to do is maybe I want to say quantity. So how many of these items do we want? So how many of the specific item do we want? So we can call it maybe a number field, right? So can I just say quantity? This is a number field. So I think that's fine. We can save for now. Right. So now there's going to be a business rule that we have, right? Because one of the options that we added was that one of the options that we added was sales a vehicle, basically a sales vehicle, like an official vehicle to maybe want to visit some potential customers. So we have to make a business rule that this when you pick a sales vehicle, you cannot have more than one quantity, right? So it just has to be one quantity, right? So now we have this. I don't know if there's any other one. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of some internal columns. So I don't think we talked about this enough before. Now, anytime you create a request, right, there are some internal columns that get filled automatically. One of those columns is called created or created by. So we have created and created by. So I'll talk about both of them. So created by is for if the current user that creates a new item is automatically saved into the created by column. It's by default, it's there on SharePoint. Now you have another column called created, which is like a timestamp. So at the point where that item was created into SharePoint, it will record that timestamp. All right, so we're going to talk about those two. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it. So it's usually hidden, you don't see it, but I will show it. So we have created by created. So let's just put it there, right? So that's how you show some hidden columns, right? So created by is a person field. Now we used person field before. I believe we used person field before. Um, yeah, I think we used it a bit. Yeah. So created by the person field, that means that it stores information about the person. So that includes the display name, so the name of the person, the email, and some other information, right? So to store that for us. So we're going to take advantage of that. Now, so that is the requisition list. Now we'll go to create another list again. So can right click on site contents. So this list is for the admin, right? So all the admins or the team leads, right? I think we call it team leads are going to be here. So let's call it okay. I'm going to remove this and create it. Okay. So this team leads now would have basically two columns, right? For now, I think two columns is fine. The title, which you don't really need, but would still leave it there because it always comes with it. And I'll add a person field. Now we used a person field before, but briefly, but again, this might be a good reminder. You could use a text field and just save the email of the team lead, right? But let's use a person field, right? Because we've learned a little bit of records. So it's like a record, a person field like a record actually. So we'll see how we use it. So go next. We can call the person, we can call this I can call it uh, profile or user profile or something like that, right? So this is a user profile for the team lead. So as a person or group, we can allow this to select groups, but we're just going to use person alone, and that's all. So we'll leave every other thing and we'll save. So now we have two lists, right? Now let's add it into our apps, into our app. All right. So so for this our app, we can now go to data. So the data column by the left. So let's add points. SharePoint use any of the connection. We created is in the sales and marketing SharePoint site because it's a sales and marketing app, right? So it's in sales and marketing SharePoint site. That's where I'm going to go to. So sales and marketing. So these are the two lists that we need. We just created. So let's connect. All right. So we have our data with it. So let's save our work so far. All right. Now we are now going to do a couple of things. So this let's call this our home screen. Right. Let's call it home screen. Right. Let's call it home screen. Now on our app, we go to start screen. So our start. So we have a property on the app object. Normally we've talked about extensively app.onStart. So the onStart property of the app object. We've talked about that, right? So the app is just basically a summarization of a app related stuffs basically. Now we have the app on start. So basically, which is the place that we are allowed to write expressions that we want to run when the app is booting up or when the app is starting up, right? So that's what app on start is. So we have another property called start screen. So basically, it's a where we basically define the screen that the app will start with. We can actually define any screen. So it can be the second screen, can be the third screen. So typically it's usually the first screen. So we can define it here. So I'm going to just put home screen. Okay. All right. Now let's go to app on start, which is the more popular one. So here, this is where I'm going to write some of the expressions that we need or variables that we need to set at the beginning of the app. Now, we can only set global variables on app on start. We cannot set context variables, right? So that's important to know. And that's because context variable has to do with screens, right? App on start does not have to do with any particular screen, right? So that's why we cannot set it. Okay, so let's start with our UI designs, right? So I'm going to set a couple of pins. I'm going to set, sorry. I'm going to set the primary color. Now I'm going to use a little bit of my style. So I'm going to do global primary color, right? Global primary color. Let's put it that way. So now, so I am trying. I want to pick some colors. Just give me a minute. Pick some colors. Let me just experiment with some colors. Let me just try something. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, that's two. Okay. Okay, let's use this. Then I'm going to go for another. So I'm going to go for um, secondary color. Right. So I'm going to use it's going to be basically three colors. I'm going to use. So we'll look for one that's a bit complementary to this. Right. So try. No, let's just go dark red and just dark red as well. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just thinking about the colors a bit. Maybe it's light red instead. It's like light red. I think this is fine. But there's no light red. Okay, so lights aura might be better. Okay, that's fine. Let's go with this. Okay, so now we use this two primary colors. So I think the final color will be white. So this will be actually secondary. I just call it secondary. I mean, be clear. So global secondary color. Then we have another color. Set another one. So this one is just going to be let's just call it the background color, right? The BG, okay, BG color, background color. Let's make this to the white because well, let's make our background to the white. Let's make it white. All right. So that's it. Now typically we don't really need to set white, but because let's just again show you those global variables properly. All right. So now we have those two. So now what we're going to do to make those colors come alive, right? Just like yesterday, I had to click the button to make the global table to be to run, to actually be created. We have to do run on start. So run on start, that will run these three expressions. Sorry, let me get back to that. So that we have these three expressions, right? So we have the primary color, we have the background color, and things like that. Okay. Now, if you come here, you can see that those global variables have been created. So we have them already here. Okay, cool. Now, what that means is that for our screen, the field, although it's white, but let's be more explicit, let's use what we created. So can I use global background color? Right? Global background color, which is also still white, but it's fine. All right, so that's great. Cool. Now, what do we need to do next? The next thing we need to do is that we want to be able to make sure that is the current user, right? Okay, we want to be able to save information about the current user, right? So we need to introduce another connection, which we've used before, the Office 365 connection. So I'm going to do that. Now, previously we've used, okay, sorry, let me do this. So previously we've used the users function, right? But actually, it's usually better to um, okay, usually better to use Office 365 to get the current user's name and email, right? In practice, now the user function is still useful; you can still use it, but this is the best practice because sometimes that user function might not work well for some other users. Like let's say you have like 100 users, one or two might complain. So it's best practice to use this, but it's fine. It does almost the same thing, and I'll show you how to use it. Right. So now I'm going to connect it. So we have the connection here. Now let us now create another variable called current user. Set again global current user. Right. So current user. Let's do that. So that'll be Office. So this time you have to specifically call the connector. So now that we have that, then it has some properties, right, that we need to pick from. So I'm going to go down and look for my profile. So can I use my profile or my profile version 2? Both of them are fine. So I'm just going to use my profile version 2 because I like the latest things. So I can just close that, right? So this will give me everything about myself. So my display name, my email, and that's the same for the current. So anybody that's running the app would be able to get their display name, their email, and all it is okay. Now, so put a semicolon. Remember, a semicolon always separates each expression in a on property. So a on visible, on select, where you can do all of multiple kind of expressions. You use semicolon to separate them. Okay. So let's do so current user. Okay. So now we need to now do something, right? And we need to do something. I'll show you. I will write it and I'll explain quickly. All right. So now there are a couple of things I've done here, and I'll just have to break it down as best as I can. Okay, so now what I want to do here is that I want to know if the current user is a team lead or not. Why? Because at some point you need to be able to say, okay, if you are a team lead, you can see this kind of thing. If you are not a team lead, you can't see this kind of thing, right? Or we'll do different kind of thing based on whether you're a team lead or not, right? So you typically, this is my style and the style for many people too. When I'm trying to do a Boolean check, whether something is true or false, I typically use is as my name of my variable. So I'll say is team lead, so that when I want to use it, I'll say if is team lead, it makes sense to me as English, isn't it? All right. So now what I want to do, I want to know if the person is a team lead or not. As simple as that. So what I did was that I said, okay, look up team leads. Team leads, remember, is one of the lists we created. So it's a list of all our team leads is going to be there. Now, and I said that there's a column called user profile. Remember, it's a person column. Is a person column, and a person column is like a record, actually, or like is a record. And remember that records have fields, and one of the fields on the record on the person column is email. So you see something like user dot email or user dot display name or user dot all kinds of things. So currently I'm interested in the email. So user profile dot email equals to, remember we've created a global current user previously. So that means this variable exists now. So global current user dot mail, because so dot mail, again, the global current user or this whole thing returns a record of everything about the user. Remember that record, yesterday we learned that it can be a collection of info or a set of information about a particular person, place, or thing. So in this case now, this record is about a person, the current user, that is me. So it has information about my display name or my name, my email, my job title, my department, etc, etc. But what I'm interested in is the email. So I'm comparing this email with whatever is on my data source. So if this lookup, remember the difference between lookup and filter. Lookup will always return only one row. The first row that match the condition, it will return it. So remember, this is a condition. Let me highlight the condition for you. this is a condition. Does the email in this particular column for any of the record or rows match the current user's email? So whichever one that match, the first one that match, it will return it back. You will return that whole row back as a return value. So now, if it returns something, it will be a record. If it does not return anything, that means it does not match anything, it will be blank. That's why I'm now checking. Is it blank? If it's blank, that means it's not team lead. But if it is, so therefore that's not out. Okay, let me remove this or error because it's not necessary. It's another function, but I don't want to overload. So is blank, remember, is blank would return true if the lookup does not return anything. So it didn't find anybody, it didn't find the current user in that list. It will be blank. So that means that person is not a team lead. But remember, my variable name is team lead. So I want to check if it's team lead. So therefore, I need to negate it. So if it is, so for instance, let's say there's no, I'm not in that list. It will be is blank will be true because I'm not in that list. So it will return blank. Lookup will return blank value. So is blank is true. But I want to negate is blank. Now I want to change it from true to false. I remember our operators, if you read the documents we shared, one operator that works with Boolean is the negation operator. And the negation operator is using exclamation sign, which is this exclamation. So that exclamation will negate it. So if it is true, it will change to false. If it is false, it will change to true. So that's what's happening here. So that's this line. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so I have this now. I think I am good with the on start. I don't know if there's anything that's missing. I think we are good. All right, so let's get back to the page. So let's save and let's get back to the page quickly. That's already, time's already well spent. All right, so we'll get to a point where we'll publish and share. We'll get to that point. Just give me a minute. All right, so let's close this for now. So now on the home page, let's look at the business rules. Let's look at business rules quickly. Yeah, so landing page that disappears. Oh, okay, a landing page. All right, so a landing page, a landing page, landing. Okay, if that's the case, then we're going to do a very nice design. So let's quickly do that. All right, so landing page, let's be fast. Fill. Okay, so let's start using the normal background color now. Let's use the primary color. Let's use the primary color. Right. Let's use the primary color. Okay, so now we're going to do something. So I'm going to do like welcome to requisition app. So I'm going to insert text label. Yeah, okay, so this should come to the middle. Let's align it. And okay, no, let's make it big first. Let's make it big. Yes, let's make it centered. Let's make it 24. Font size. Let's make it bold. Text should be something like okay. All right, so let's increase the size. Okay, so now we're going to do align center. I'm going to do align middle. So that puts it in the middle. So I'm going to change now the color. Color. Okay, so the color we're going to use our global. Let's use the BG color because we need to contrast it. Okay, good. So it looks nice. So let's increase the width. Yeah, I think we should increase the font size a bit, to be honest. So let's just go for 28. Go for 28. So it's a bit bigger. So again, we order center. All right. Okay, great. Now let us insert our timer. Okay, timer. The timer, I think auto starts. I will take you back to that. So that means I want to insert a new screen. right? So let's insert a new screen. So how do I decide? Okay, yeah, new screen. Yeah, we're going to try a new screen, blank layout. Just but this will be our gallery screen, right? So the way we see, let me see, a landing page as a screen with submit requests. Okay, okay, let's call it the gallery screen. Let's call it a gallery screen. Basically, I want to navigate to the gallery screen after so now we have another on property for timer, right? So we call it on timer end. So at the end of the timer, do this. What should you do? Right? You should just navigate to gallery screen. Let's do cover right. Oh, uncover because I'm uncovering it, right? I'm uncovering. So let's uncover, and I think that's all, right? We don't have any other thing. Yeah, that's it. That's all we need to do. So we need to do this in 5 seconds, in 2 seconds. Currently it's in 2 seconds. So let's test it out. Let's see if it works. Great, exactly, perfect. So that's working now. So now all we need to do is hide it because we don't need to see it, right? So hidden. Okay, good. So what else? I think this is okay. We don't. I'd love to put some nice logo here, but I don't know. I don't want to waste time. Okay, you know what? Let's put something nice. I don't have a nice logo, so let's leave it. Cut off time. Let's move on quickly. So let's come here. Now we are in gallery straight. All right. So I'm going to add a bit of picture. So we're going to do that. Let's insert. Let's insert image. Because even though we are chasing time, it doesn't mean our app should not be a bit nice. So very, very fast. We're going to do this very, very fast. Let's see what we can do. Let's say let's just use the user. Let's use the user object here because user object is pretty okay. Yeah, that's that image. Yeah, that's nice. So we have 100. I think 100 is a bit big. Let's make it 60. Uh, 60 and the border radius. Let's make it so can make it so the border radius can actually be like half of the height or it can be greater than that. So usually the same size 60 is fine. So border radius, nice. Let's do one more thing. There's something I was thinking of. Borders. Yes, I want to do border because I want to do a nice border. I don't know why. I just feel like I should do a nice border. And two border. Yeah, okay, that's nice. But let me change that color to a bit of a dark gray. Yeah, dark gray. Uh, yes, I think so. Something like just to make it a bit nice. Maybe we can increase it a bit to 90. Let's see. Okay. 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 The product code is not showing much here. Let's make it. Let's make it like this color. Because I don't know, I just feel like showing by the color. All right, so that's it. That's it. We can even do some more. Okay, I think that's all. Let's do that. So let's move on. So now gallery. So we need to add a gallery to the screen. So the gallery is basically going to show us what is in our data source, right? The request that we made, right? Now what we're going to do is that from that gallery, we can edit an item if we want to, or we can create a new request, right? There'll be a button for the new request. So let me think. I I will do that. Okay, let's put this here. Let's add an icon. Let's add an icon. Let's add icon. Add, right. Perfect. This icon would be like creating a new request, right? So let's do a padding of 8 by 8. Oh, yeah, I don't mind if it's very large. So, but most important is that this has to be our primary color, right? So go to the color, replace this to our global primary color. Right. So yeah, so that's our brand, right? That's our brand color. So that's it. So add a new one. So then what else? If we click on okay, I'm trying to think about it a bit. Okay. So let's add a gallery. Let's insert a vertical gallery. Right. So this vertical gallery is going to be connected to our requisition requests. All right, so nothing is there right now. The layout, we don't have an image, so we don't need that. But we do have subtitle. What do we have? Yeah, we have subtitle. I think that's fine. So this layout is good. So we're going to add this gallery. So that's the first step. All right. Now let's put this here. So basically, in this gallery, the user should be able to see only his own request at first, right? Something allows us to, okay, something request. Okay, that shows only the user's submission. Okay, so basically, based on the requirements, you should have two screens. So one where the user sees only his request, and the other screen where the admin sees all the requests. Okay, in that case, maybe we shall call it my screen or my request screen. Let's call it my request screen because that makes a bit more sense. All right, so let's call it my request screen. So let's do that. Don't worry, you can rename your screen. Any place where you reference your screen, it will automatically get updated. So my request screen, right? It'll be nice, and I'll maybe prefer to combine it, but it's fine. Let's go with what it's in the gallery, right? Let's go with all the requirements. Now, what we'll do is that we'll then do a filter. Now, why are we doing a filter? Because remember that the requirement says that only the submitted request, that's what should be here. So I'm going to do a filter for only the request that was created by the current user. So how do we do that? So filter data source, comma, right? So what's our condition? What's our logical test? Well, our logical test is we need to use the created by screen column dot email, right? Equals to the current user, right? Dot mail. So give me only the request that the current user created. That's basically what this means. Now, why am I even using mail, by the way, to do all these conditions? Remember, the lookup, I use mail too. So why am I using mail? Why not display name? Why not use the name? Because your display name or your name is not unique. It's not, believe it or not. There's probably someone that's behind my first name and my last name. But in a system, emails are designed to be unique. So that's why it's best practice to do this kind of filters or conditions with emails, not display name, right? In fact, I witnessed that happen in real life when I was working. There was someone that had the same name, in fact, the same first name, middle name, and surname in the same organization. Yes, that happened. It was a fairly big organization, but yes, it's possible. So email. All right. So this will give us request by email. Okay. So now that's fine. So the good thing here is that this is all we need to do in this screen. Okay. No, one more thing. We need to do a couple of things. We need to be able to view. So I'm going to add a view screen. I know that yes. Let's add a view screen. Let's make it interesting. Let's add quickly. How many minutes do I have? I have, oh, wow, it's almost done. Let's go to form details. Oh, sorry. Form, let's use a display form. Again, you use that other type of form, but let's use a display form. So this display form is only going to do something. I did it yesterday. It's just going to do something for us, sharp, sharp. Anytime we click on it, you can see more details about the gallery that we selected, right? At the other end selected. That's just what it's going to do for us. So I'm going to connect to this, yes. And then the item property of this form would be the selected gallery, the selected item in the gallery. So item would be gallery one, gallery one dot selected. Now, guy one the selected dots what? No, just guy one the selected actually. That's all. So guy one the selected. Now, so that means anytime you select any item here, it will show up on this place, right? And here we can see more information. Now let's make it a bit more. Let's make it one so we can see things properly. A bit of space. Okay. Now, another thing we want to do that's going to be very nice is that apart from that, we also want to be able to edit the button directly from here. So I'm going to change the work of this of this icon. I'm going to change to edit. Actually, maybe I should have used, you know what? I should have used another. I should have used the normal form, edit form. Let's do that. Let's use the normal edit form. So I'll start out. Because I want to go to another page, but I felt let's just do the same page, right? Of course, you are free to do it how you want to do it, right? You are free to do it however you want to do it. So let's use the normal edit form. Let's use the normal edit form. Let's make it a bit smaller. It's up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think it just makes sense that you can select it immediately and can edit it immediately, right? It makes a lot of sense. So what I'm going to do again is that I'm going to connect it to data source, right? In fact, the screen to summary request. I guess we can combine it into two, right? Yeah, if they can allow us. I can combine it into two because now I'm seeing the screen to summary request. And I'm wondering what I should put on that screen to do that. But let's just do this. Let's remove the attachment because we don't need it. Let's make it to one column because no space. Again, let's go back to item. Gallery one just selected. Gallery one. That's selected. All right, so we're going to do two things here. We're going to, in this place, I'm going to do something. Anytime we select the anytime we select this, right? This particular stuff. Now, this select parents, I won't talk about it much. Okay, let me talk about it. So this gallery, right? If you can I showed you yesterday, you can interact with the gallery. So when you select any item, you can tie some actions to that fact that you selected an item, right? Now, but you can do it in two levels. You can decide that okay, anytime you touch any part of the gallery for a particular item, do this kind of action. So that means you are doing it at the gallery level. So the gallery itself has a on select. Now, you can also target a specific control in the gallery and say, do this other thing, right? So I'm going to show you. So now this particular button, I want you to do something else. I want you to do just a simple thing. I want you to edit form. Form one, I think it's called form one. Yes, form one. So that is prepared for edition, right? Prepared for edition. Let's edit. Whereas the rest of the gallery, it doesn't actually need to do anything, but you can say the rest of the gallery should have just on select, you can say view form, right? So view form one. That allows you to view the form. All right. So then this one does another thing. It does new form. New form. One. See, so all of them are all doing different things, right? All of them are on the same page. Don't worry, we can make it on the same page. Let's find. Let's reply that. Okay, so good. So we are good to go in this page. Now we need to go to that page. Now we need to add a navigation. Of course, we don't have a navigation menu, but I'll just add a button because that's all we can do. So a button. So this button will be here, and this button allows us to go to the admin page or the team lead page or the let's just call it admin page. Right? That's going to oh sorry, not there. Text. All right. So, pictures admin page. So what we're going to do something. We're going to hide it from people that are not admin. We need to hide it from them. So what I'm going to do is that remember that is admin is a boolean. We've checked, right? We've checked are you admin or not? Yes or no. So we can use the take advantage of that to determine whether this is visible or not. So we'll say something like is team lead actually. It's team lead. So if team lead is true, it should now it's not showing for me because I'm not a team lead. And that's because I'm not in that list. Don't worry, we'll do that. So, but what is this button going to do? It's going to navigate us on that screen. So we need to go to create a screen called a blank screen. Call this team lead screen, right? So call it team lead screen. Right. So this team lead screen will navigate to that team lead screen and we'll do on so that button. What's the button? Yeah. So we'll just go to select navigate. to the screen. Right. So let's do that one. Let's do cover, right? Right. And then let's go. So that navigates us there. Okay. So now I think we're done here. So let's do a couple of tests. I'm going to add myself as a team lead just because, So now this list is going to be managed on the SharePoint list because it's kind of we don't want to manage on the app, right? So I will say, I don't know, we'll call it I don't know, whatever, or something. But the most important thing is this guy. So all right, I'll look for my name. I think I've got that for here actually. Okay, so I'll just look for my name and I'll save. This is fine, doesn't matter. Now I'm going to now run on start. Now watch this button when I run on start. I hope it works. So I'm going to run on start and the button shows. So why does the button show? Because now it can find me on that list, right? It can find my account on the user profile column on the team lead list, and it knows that I'm a team lead, and then it gives me that button. Or that is anybody that's not on this list will not see that button. So that's important thing. All right. Now let us fill a couple of forms. Right. Let's do that quickly. So we'll click on this button and this gives it gives a new form. Remember, this is what this button is used to create a new form. We'll say new requests. Right. Request item. I want fill bags. I want 20 of them. Oh my god, they don't have a button to save. Okay, no problem. Let's just do that quickly. Boom, let's go insert a button. Down here, align it to the form a little bit. So call this a submit button, submit form or submit requisition. Submit requests. Okay, so right, so I can make it a bit wider. So that's I zoom in and I just drag it. That's completely fine. Okay, so submit request. So what's good? So submit request. What's it going to do? I'm sure you guys know this now. Submit form. Submit form one. That's it. Submit form one. But I'll go to a couple of things too, right? We're going to. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's think about this a bit. I want to do something, right? Again, I know time is fast spent, but let's think about how we are building our apps. What if anytime we need to add a new request, let it come up to the top, isn't it? It makes a lot of sense instead of it to the bottom. I want to introduce a function for you. Don't worry, these are functions that you don't need to know everything. Just note it, play around with it, and you'll learn it. So it's called sort. So actually, there are two columns. One is sort by columns. There are two functions. So we'll use sort for now. I want to use sort. Now, sort helps us to sort our data source. Now, normally, right, when you create an item, it will be uncreated and it will be creating it. So the next one I create will be under, the next one I create will be under like that. So the one at the top is the earliest item that you created. Now, but we want to flip it in our gallery. We want the latest item to come to the top. So now I'm going to sort and I will do comma. Now the next thing is that what column do you want to sort on? We want to sort on created. But created is remember, it's the column that is automatically filled based on the timestamp of when you created the item. So that's it. And then we'll now do, sort, see, ascending or descending. So I want to do descending. So that's the order. I want to do it. So those are the three parameters for sort. The data, your data source, your expression, or to make it simple, your column where you want to sort on, and then what kind of sort do you want, ascending or descending. So that we're doing that. Okay, so that's that. So now let us create a new item. Now we're going to also do something. When this on success, we're going to make it a view form. We'll turn it to a view form. Now you can say form one, but let's take advantage of our relative reference. So we'll say self. Because remember, we are doing it on the form itself. So I said, we set me to be a view form to myself, right? That's what it means. So now let's add a new item. Quick. Let's do that. So submit, boom, bam, we are there. So we have a new item, we have it detail screen, and that is perfect, isn't it? Now let us add on. So what can we do again? If you click on this, now let's add a new Let's add another one. So let's add a new one, new form. All right. So that's create a new form. Let's say um, I need a full car. Right? Although there's a requirement that's here, but I'm not sure if I have the time. So sales vehicle request 1 and 1, but let's just for now let's do that. Submit. Farm it's actually it doesn't select the latest one. I was hoping to select the first one. But anyway, the first one's at the top, and then we can select it, and then you see it's a poker. Now, if I click on the icon for edit, if I click on it, it allows me to edit it. So you can see how all those form modes work together. We've done all of them in one screen. So that's just very, very cool. So let's save and move to the next screen. Quickly, God, no shadow. Where is the come and bounce me? So let's do this quickly. So I'm going to copy a couple of things. I think I'm just going to copy this gallery to make it fast. Right. So I'm going to just copy this gallery. So let's go here. So now we're going to paste this on here. So this is the team lead screen. Well, I'm going to do a couple of things for team lead screen. First of all, team lead screen, it's only it's view only. So this guy needs to go back to his very, very nice view icon, which is the chevron or right. It's called right. Okay, right. So that's what it's going to do. Then the edit select is going to be doing. I'm going to use. Don't worry, you don't need to understand this function for now. But you're going to select experience. So basically, I'm taking it back to default. So it's going to do whatever experience is doing. It's going to do it. So the parent is the gallery itself. That's what it means. So now, yeah, I'm going to do. What am I doing here? I don't think we need to do anything. I think false. False is fine. False is fine. We are not doing anything. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a form, a display form, right? A proper display form because I'm not going to edit anything. I'm going to create anything. This screen is for the admins. I just come here to view the forms, right? So that's what I'm doing. So what are we doing here? Well, simple. We're going to connect the data source to our acquisition. Number one, we're going to make this one stuff. Then a couple of things. Yeah, in the data source, we're going to do the sort, but we're not going to do the filter. And why? Because we want to see everything now. So we're going to take out the filter, right? We're going to take out, although there'll still be a filter. No, there'll still be a filter because I'm going to do drop down filter, blah, blah, blah. But no, let's take it small, small. We're not doing filter based on any the user email anymore. So we'll come back to that. But let's leave it like this for now. So I've seen everything. So that's what it means. See everything. And then also this form, the item property is gallery 1_1 because I copied it. By 1_1 dot selected. So that's it. So this one allows us to see everything. So what else are we going to do on this place? Now, we need to do two things. We are meant to do two things. We are meant to allow the team lead to search and filter. So we should be able to search for user and should be able to filter users. All right. Okay, so that search is going to be a bit interesting. So let's insert text inputs. All right, so we'll take this out. Our hints, we'll call it search user. The hint is just it's like, when you fill form, the hint yeah. I'm very used to that. I don't need to explain. So now what I'm going to do is that we need to search for this, right? So we're going to do a start with. Yes, start with. I think it should work. So instead of I'm going to put a filter back. I'm going to put a filter back, right? So let's put a filter, right? So we'll do that. Now I'm going to use the start with function. Start with, right? So what do you want to start with now? So now this is going to be a bit tricky, and I'm not tied to like the last. I'm using a person field. So I want to test something because while I've done this, but I think I can still do it on a complex field like a person field. So the name of the field is no, sorry, created. Yeah, we're searching by uncreated. created by, created by, which is also a person field actually. But I'm going to search on the display name. All right. Then I'm going to do comma, text input one, text input one dot text. I think it's working. Yeah, I think it's going to work. Okay. All right. So now, so this works. So that means that we can search. Now, I've only had my own to create. So unfortunately, I can only search for myself. Or at least, it's not working. Oh, sorry, I won't forget. That's my name is Dako in this place. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so you can see it's searching for me. If I search for, I have another user I have another user called Adele. Yes, that's her name. Hello, Adele. So meet Adele. This is Adele. So let's search for Adele. Now, Adele is not in this list. So if you try Adele, you won't see anything, right? So that means it's working perfectly fine. Okay. So now, next step is we need to do a filter, right? So do a filter. So let's add a drop down. Let's insert a drop down. Now, this drop down is going to be interesting, right? Because I want to introduce another function. Don't worry, the functions are not much, they're not much, they're not much. But there's some that Omolola did last time, right? She explicitly created the options that you have normally so that you can use to filter. But I'm going to show you a way where you don't need to do that, right? So let's assume you have a choice field already in your data source. You can just take that choice field and bring it into the app and put it into a drop down very easily. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now in my items, there's a function called choices. Don't worry, the functions are plenty. You don't need to know everything. Just as you get used to it, you know where to use it. So it requires a column, right? That's what it requires. Can you see it's telling me column. So, but the column is on where? You know, a column is always on a table. So what table is it coming from? Our data source, which is requisition requests. Dot what? Our requests. So this one does not give any hint. So you have to look for the name by yourself. So request item, right? And then you close it. This would give you all your options. In fact, you will sit here, you can see all your options here. Very, very simple, right? So you already have it here. So now what that means that I can do my, filter and stuff like that. Now, obviously, we want to have like this is a bit tricky because what this means is that if I filter, I'll have a retail bags immediately. They have to be an all option. Right, there has to be an all option. So we need to do something. I just realized that, and that might be a bit complicated. Mm. Mm. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, right? We would have to write it manually because of the all option. Or, you know what? I'm going to introduce another control that may help us. Yes, I will introduce another control that may help us. So we're going to do things a little bit different. I know that we have just 6 minutes. So just a little bit different in this time. All right, so let's do something. Right, I'm still going to use this guy because I want to introduce this guy to you. I think it's still pretty useful. Right, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to introduce another one. I'm going to use a combo box. It's very, very similar to a drop down. Just like combo box is much more advanced. You can search with it. You can do some extra things. Right, so don't worry. So let's make it here. Actually, this is. So I'm going to do this. Actually, not that. Now this is a combo box. Like combo box is very similar, it does that, but the difference is that it allows us to do something. It allows us to say when there is no, I'm looking for that property. Sorry, I need to do some things. I need to remove search. I need to remove, so you can do some extra things than drop down, right? So keep that in mind. So I need to remove some things, but it allows us to do something. Yes, I think it's this one. It allows us to say something like, oh, this happens when we didn't select anything. That's the beauty about it, right? So that's the beauty about it. So it's just there. So don't need to do that kind of join stuff. It kind of has that kind of thing. Now let's now incorporate it with this. So how do we incorporate it? What we can do, right? We can just say comma, right? So again, this is a bit different from yesterday, right? So again, can do things in a bit different way. So I'm going to do a slightly different thing. So I'm going to do something, right? Now, yesterday, Mola showed us double bar for or. I'm going to show you a different way of doing or again. So or can be a function actually. Yes. Or can be a function. Or can be a function and can be a function. Right? So when you compare two things with or, so this or that, those are the two things you need to put as parameters into the function. So now I'm going to use that. Now I want to do that. So we're going to do uh does this work again? Retail sorry, requests first item, pick that dot selected. So no, sorry. Right. Dot value. Okay, so right, because a choice field, right? So dot value equals to, so the combo box, at least combo box one dot selected dot value. Right, so that's the first parameter. The second parameter is now if that combo box dot selected of value, let me just copy it, is blank. Right, so you can use is blank, or can just use equals to blank. So blank, there's also a function called blank too. You can use equals to blank. Any of those two can work. Again, just different ways. You can use is blank or this way. But this would combine it perfectly for us. Now I'm going to do format text to show you everything that is here. So basically, I'm saying start with this, or you can use this. Now, I don't know if you need to come. Okay, I need to see how it works first, because I might do some modification. Let's check. So now we have all, so everything is showing. So I can search for myself. That's fine, it's working. Now, if I search for retail bags, does that work? Yes, that works. So I can select it, so that works. So retail bags works. If I filter for sales vehicle, that also works, and I can select it to view details. So that works perfectly fine. Okay, so what else can we do again? So yeah, that allows us to filter, that allows us to search. So that's done. Okay, so let's save. Okay, so unfortunately, this page you couldn't design much. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if there's any other thing. Okay, there's a business rule we had, but due to time, I don't know if we can do that business rule. But basically, what we can do, this is what we can do, right? We can say something like this. If can do if statements. If so look at this data card. Let's copy the name. Right, so let's go back here. So let's just complete it. So if data card dot, now there's what they call dot update. So what does that mean? So update is the whatever value you have for a particular data card. That's the update. Now we did a different method the other time when we used the control instead of the data card, which is a drop down. So we could have used that one, but this is another method that we can use to get whatever you selected for a particular data card. So this is the update. Then you can say if it's equals to sales vehicle. Sorry, guys, just do that quickly. Equals to sales vehicle, where we right? And so this I'm using and in a different way. I didn't use the upper and double upper is possible. You can use and like this again. So three different ways, right? And the quantity. So the quantity data card two. Let's copy the name very quickly. Quickly. Updates. If it's equals to let me think about that. If it's greater than one, or if it's equals to one actually, because it's not exactly one. If it's equals to one, then submit the form, else notify. So there's what they call notify. There's a function called notify to notify the user, and notify the user that there's a. I'll need to check something here. Can notify the user that please select only one quantity. I get right. Quantity. Ah, for sales, sales. Cool. Okay. All right. So we have that, right? Now, I think there's a bit of a mistake I've made a bit. So I think this is supposed to be dot value because they drop down. Check that. Just a minute. Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. So I need to create a record because a drop down, right? It's a record. It's not just a text. So I just to dot value colon. Remember that these are a text is. It's not beginning to work. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the actual data card. I'd love to investigate why that did not work, but there's no time. So let's use the actual data card. Let's see if that works better. Okay, so I'm going to use the data card. I'm going to do this. That's selected dot value. Okay, so now since you are going to the value directly, that is the value inside of that record, you then can compare with the text. So that's fine. So now, but at the same time, this logic is a bit off, I think. So let me close my, okay, so sorry, let me do one more thing. So it's an error or maybe an information, right? So we have different type of notifications. So we have error, information, success, right? So we are going to like an error, like, oh, we need to do this. So if this is this, and this, okay. So something where, okay, so that is a better way to do this, but I'm going to do another like a or, because the reason why I need to do that is because what if we didn't select a vehicle, right? So if you didn't select a vehicle, then you should just do what it needs to do. So we're going to do another check. So what I'm going to do is, yes, another check. So I'm going to take this parts, right? I'm going to copy it and I'm going to say if it's not equals to a vehicle, right? So basically, I'm going to say if it's not equal to vehicle. So if it's not equal to vehicle, just submit, right? So that works. So now, so let me just format the text to explain what I'm saying. So if it's equals to a vehicle and it's equals to 1, okay. Or if it's not equals to a vehicle, it's not equals to a vehicle, then I can just go and submit, right? So that's the idea. Then, but if this fails, then please select only one quantity for sales vehicle. Let's test that out. So let's say this new one sales vehicle. We'll just say okay. Let's just do that. Let's say 2 and try submit. And it says please select only one quantity for sales vehicle. Right? So if I do just one and I just say submit, that submits and that clears it. So now you can see that works perfectly fine. So I think we are good. We've covered everything. I don't know if Lola can come in. I don't know if I've covered everything. If there's any questions, yeah. I think I need to do my own screen to be 5 seconds because I did a test.
Yeah.
So this was us. Okay. So did I do everything? Did I cover everything? Well, I cover everything.
Let's
Was I
see.
able to cover
So we'll
everything?
just so you're going to play your app and we'll see from the beginning to the end and we'll see if it
Yes.
works.
Okay. All right. So
All
5
right.
seconds. Okay.
Awesome.
So
Then this
so
is
we have a
the
screen
so
where
the
they can,
first. All right. So this screen, what's this screen doing? This screen is seeing all the records, right?
yeah. So I kind of
Is it the
combined two
admin
screens to one.
screen?
No. This is the user screen. Maybe I should have written it. So I kind of combined two screens into one. One screen, because you said one screen should be to create a request. Another
Yeah,
screen
this
is to
this
show
is this
only
is
user
standard. This
submission.
is standard. This is
Yeah. So
standard.
I'm
This is
combining
good.
them. Yeah.
So
So I'm combining them.
yeah,
So
so
you can
what
create
we
a new
have
request.
here, yeah.
You can create a new request here.
Mhm.
Submit request. And you can see the request you created for that particular user. So there's only his own request to be showing here. and you can edit. It's possible. You can also edit the request. You might want to edit, but that was an extra, because we always go above and beyond. So that was an extra stuff we added there, so we can edit and there, so they can do that. Yeah.
So are we changing the form to a view form once we've submitted, or what are we doing exactly here?
Yes, we change the review form. So let's say we submit a new request. Well, let me, what can I need, I don't know if they call this contact cards. That's what's stuck in my head. Like all these cards for business
Huh?
cards. No,
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
need business cards, but anyway, fine. I need like 100 of them. So I submit. So it's going to turn to a view form. Now, I was able to automatically select it. So I guess there's something I can do to improve that, but there's no time. So, but if you select it, you can view it. You can see what you select, what you created, right? So yeah.
Awesome, awesome, David. So one thing that I actually want to say here is, you see, this application that we built is functional, right? It is amazing and is always needed in an organization. So you can see that I don't need to be going to my sales manager to say I need business cards, right? Because as a salesperson, you'll be going to the fields. You're trying to bring customer into the organization. You need to give them cards and all of that. So this particular use case is very, very, very lovely. Now, we told you from the beginning that Canvas app is what you see is what you get, right? That means that we can actually make this as beautiful as possible. We can add colors, but because of our time, we're trying to just show you that the most important thing about Power Platform is that you can achieve something that is useful in an organization. You can do it in less than 2 hours, and that's what David just quickly did for us. So we can decide to send this application to the designers, have them design it, then come back here and spend a lot of time putting all the designs. You can see David is changing the color to the primary color that he was given. He's changing the color to the primary to the secondary, and basically colors that he was given. You can change the background. You saw that from the beginning of the training, and you can also see that we don't need to be calling the few colors anymore. All he's just doing is calling the variable that he has set, and that's the essence of setting variables. All right, so you can see that you can design all the controls in the app. All you just need, you've already set your variable. That's what David is doing currently. You've set your variables. You can just come here, call the variable, see how it's changing all of that easily. You can change all the text that you have in your app. You can make it as beautiful as possible. One of the things that David did here is maximizing your control, which is you don't need to have four controls to do different things if you can use one control. So you saw that immediately we save um, a record, right? We change that control to a view form to show us everything that we have submitted. So, David, if I come in here as a user, what I'm going to see, will it be limited? Did we do that?
Yes. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, if it permits me, maybe if you have like 10 minutes, I'm going to share this app with a user and we'll go to that user's profile, right? That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah. So, one of the things that David will show us now is I finished building my application. How can I share this app? So yesterday I showed us how to save and how to publish. So now David will save and publish his app. So he's going to publish right now. And once he publishes, he's going to share this app with somebody. So over to you, David. Just show us how to do
all
that. So
right.
he's currently
Okay.
saving
So
and
there's
publishing.
a yeah. So there's a icon here. Okay, I think that was showing, but anyway, let me just so there's an icon here that allows you to save and publish. So you click on it, then you just publish, right? So it's published now. So once it's published, right, all you can do is that you could just all you need to do is go to okay, there are many ways. One of the ways you can do is you can go to app history. Now, what you can do is that you can go to this see more options for version management. That will take you to another screen, right, on that page. Now, this page, you'd have like, you'd see information about your app. But one of the things you can do is to share your app from this page. So I'll show you how to do that once it loads up. Now, I have a user, again, I introduced you to a user called Adele. So she is part of the sales team or sales and marketing team. So she'll be using the app very soon. So I will now, so at the top, you can see share, right? So you can go to details too. You can see information about your app. and links. You can, if in case you want to share, you can share the link included. But let's share first. So let's share. So we go to share. Now you have a pop-up, a dialog box. So what you need to do is that you need to find the person you need to share with. So all you need to do is just search the person. So it's Adele Vance on my own. You might see the same name, the same user on your developer account, by the way. It's possible. So this is the user. Now I don't want to make now I can choose to make it the person a co-owner. What does that mean? That means that the person can also be able to edit the app, but I don't want to make the person a co-owner, right? Now, also the person needs to have access to all our data source. Can see all our three data source: requisition request, team leads, and Office 365 users. Now, thankfully, the user has access to all of them already, but you need to make sure of that. Now, I'm going to send an email invitation to the user, right? So that the user will get the link in the email. So I'll share. You can choose to not also send an email, in which case you will have to share the link in another way. So now you can also copy the link here and share maybe via Teams, for instance. So let's go to the user's side. So this is the user. I would zoom in a bit, zoom into, yeah, good. Now I'm going to go, now there are two ways to do this because I know that I've shared the app already. I just go to apps. I will see the app under this place because it has been shared with me, right? Let me see, it should be around, maybe if I need to refresh. Okay, yeah, it's here. Sales requisition app is at the bottom. But let's do as if this user is a new user. Let's see. I know we don't have much time. Let's go to the email of the user, right? So you've sent a link to the user. The user is going to get the email and click the link because we are recreating as if a real life scenario, right? It's a real life scenario. So if user goes, Papa, morning coffee, is sipping coffee, or she's sipping coffee, right? And then you get an email that a new app has been shared by the administrator or something like that. Let's give it a minute, let it load. Let it load. Uh, bam, bam, bam. So while that's load, okay, good. Yes. All right, great. Good. So now the link has been shared to the user. So now the user is going to see the link, right? So now the user can run the app in Teams or the user can just run the app, right? Let's just run the app straight away. Let's run the app. So now the user is running the app for the first time. Okay, so I think we need to set up some permissions because this is the first time the user is running any Power App ever. So there are some permissions that the user will need to set up. So sales requisition app is coming up. All right. So if you are running the app for the first time, right, you would have to grant some permissions to some data source. We use two data sources or two connections. One is SharePoint and one is Office 365. So we need to allow. All right. So there's a bit of a thing I need to change in the app. So when we build the app the first time, right, so let's make a quick change, right? So that's a quick change because we will see our nice intro page, right? So when I did the app, I kind of changed the screen to, let me see. Start screen. That's correct. Okay, that's fine. Okay, know what we're going to do. So let's go back to, and let's refresh because I didn't see the welcome screen. So I'm wondering why that was the case. But let's see. But if it does not show come up, then we'll just continue. But I guess maybe sometimes I think perhaps it does some optimization where it tries to run the first screen in parallel. But let's see. So ideally we should see our
We
welcome
could,
screen for five
David, we
seconds,
could
then we
move
should go to
the
interesting.
screen up.
Okay.
We could move the screen up so that is the first screen. So by default, that will be the first screen that will display.
Okay, no, it's
Because
showing
of
now.
because of
Whoa. Okay, so five. Okay, so now we have this. All right. So now probably I should have hidden this form if there's nothing there. Right? That's probably a good use case. But no, because this is a very, very quick app, so we're just going to do it now. You can see that the user does not have anything on the gallery, right? Nothing's on the gallery because it's only things I created. So let's create a couple of things. So new request for Adele. That's her name. So what kind of request? I got request for product samples. I need about 50 of them. I'm going to submit that request. So now we have, can I see that it's only Adele's request that's here. Another thing again is that we don't have the admin button because she's not a team lead,
an
right? So,
admin.
so we can't go to the
Yeah.
admin page. Yeah, exactly. So we can't go to the admin page. So that's what we have here. Okay. So you can see that it have a slightly different. So they're only seeing their own request from here. And that's based on that filter that
Awesome.
we did.
Awesome. This is amazingly beautiful, right? Because one thing I always tell people is that Power Apps is the same way you can use Power BI to analyze data and all of that. You can use Power Apps using all your filters and all of that to determine the data that is displayed, right? That is displayed on the screen, that is shown. And that's what we've done here. So you can have one app. Everybody is using one app in an organization. But what a team lead, your managers can see, they can see all the entries of everybody, but you don't need to see the entry of another person, right? And this use case is amazing. You get to use it in so many other, use cases. They might say, okay, limit who sees what and what. Limit you can build an application for HR, and they will say we want the only the HR to be able to see all of these things. You build a salary or something for an HR now. You don't want another person, a staff, to see another staff's salary. And that's why you do things like filter, you hide it. If this person is not the team lead or not the HR in this case, don't show them all of this. If the person is the HR, show them all the records. So this is beautiful. We would like to see your applications. So one thing we want you to do, build your application. Once you have built it, go to LinkedIn, go to Twitter, take a screenshot of all this app and tag us. So if we have a lot of people do that, we can now come again and show us how to actually upload all of these applications to GitHub. We could do that. Or there's even a video of that already, right, by Ayatunde Ayola and Olaiwaju Oyiboke. So we can share that with you guys. But take the screenshots of this app, tell us what this app is doing, tell us why it is important in an organization, and post it out there. You can actually get an employer employ you because you'll be useful in the organization. Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, guys, for trusting us with your time. It's been an amazing session, taking you from the level where we don't even know how to create pop-ups, where we don't know how to create a variable, to this point where we can actually do filter, we can work with galleries, we can, do all of this logic. Remember, thank you for taking advantage, but what you need to remember is the more you build, the more you practice, the more you get better, right? And yeah, so that will be all from me. Do you have anything to say, David? Your last words as we end.
Yeah, that's man. It's well, I don't know how to feel that I come to the end of this because we've come a long way. Honestly, we've really come a long way from just even figuring. A lot of people did. I remember when we started, right? We had a lot of responses, and most 42%. I know 48%, I think, said they were on the Jon Snow level. Like they didn't even know what Power Platform was. Right. And I remember we started from Power Platform, we started in fact, to be honest, we actually had to modify some of the things we wanted to teach because we realized a lot of people did not even know some of those basic things. So we said, okay, let's start from Power Platform. What is even Power Platform? What is even Power? Now we've gotten to the point where people are saying, okay, how do you, modify your form? How do you use, how do I put it? How do you use choices? How do you use selected value? People are already talking in the language of Power App developer already. And that's exciting, right? I can see some of the questions that have been asked. That shows that people are practicing. I just got a message from someone that he has been practicing at least for the first 6 days. He has been practicing at least, right? He's not going to the seventh day yet, but that's encouraging. And I just want to encourage that person to keep it up. So that's the kind of thing that I want to hear. No, let me just answer one question that's on the chat. So someone asked that, are you saying everyone with a developer account by default have Adele Vance as a user to test? Now, that question, okay, so it's up on the screen now. So that question, now I don't know if you have Adele Vance. I don't know because I've not seen It's only my own developer account I've seen, but you would have other users, right? Because the point of that Microsoft 365 developer program is to simulate situations where you're like the admin of a tenant. So therefore, you're going to have some users created for you already. Now, I don't know if they'll be called Adelvance or not,
David,
but you can
David.
also
So
create
let's
your own
quickly
users.
do this.
Yeah.
Let's quickly do this. Your on Microsoft account. Let me see what it looks like.
Like the email. Is it the
Yes,
email? Okay, so let me
yes, yes,
minimize
yes.
this. Let me go to this. Okay, let me use this one. So you can see this is my name at 5TS1 because I don't know on
All
Microsoft.com. I don't know if
right.
you can see it.
So,
Yeah,
so when you are so when you are creating a Microsoft 365 account, right? You have the option of creating customizing, right? You also have the option of
yeah,
creating instance. So when you create instance, there's one that actually gives you brings people into your organization, right? It will help you set up, you have users and all of that. There's one that doesn't do that, right? So it's possible. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. So it's possible for you to have there are some generic users that you just have depending on the kind of account that you create. So yeah, over to you, David. Just go ahead. I just
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to
I
add
think
that
that, I
extra.
think that's yeah. I think that's basically so. Yeah, that's a good point because when we talking about developer account, there are actually two developer accounts. There's one that you create with your organization, right? That is just Power Apps developer environment that you get. Then there's one that is called a Microsoft 365 developer program that gives you a whole subscription, and that might include probably includes, as Amola said, some default user accounts that I can use to work with, right? Because sometimes you might need to test as an admin. Okay, these some settings. Let me test for the user. How does user experience this? Because that's the whole point, right? So, and you have to understand that Microsoft 365 developer program actually goes beyond Power Platform. If you are a Teams developer, you can do that. If you are trying to just learn Microsoft 365 administration, you can use it. It's for all of them, right? So yes, you can have users on that subscription. So yeah, that's just the short answer. So thank you guys again. Thank you for being with us for so long for this like 1 week plus. Really, really appreciate. So that's I think that's over for me. Yeah. So back to you, Ola.
Guys, take advantage, replicate everything we've done. It's been an amazing time. We love you, and we are here. If you have any questions at all, do ensure to reach out to David, reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can always reach out to David on LinkedIn. David answers questions. He enjoys answering questions. So reach out to David on LinkedIn, reach out to him on Twitter, reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out to me on Twitter. Some of the materials that we have shared with you, you will see our Twitter and you will see our LinkedIn and on all of those materials. So thank you so much for joining. And uh this is where we say our goodbyes, guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.